Hello everyone and welcome to the Enemies Elliot, and thank you for joining me as we explore chapter 5 and 6 of The God of High School. Two chapters that help get the plot moving while showing off some great new interesting characters and their movesets. Now we get introduced to these type of bracelets that have the technology to basically read a person's power level and their stamina, physical strength and abilities. And honestly, the way that these were used and handled in these two chapters, I thought was very smart and a very clever way of using an item within a series. Now, one thing I do have to say about the God of High School series so far, it's only been 6 chapters that I've read, but this series is so well written and so well presented that even the smallest things like these bracelets can seem like a really big deal and a very smart and effective way. Everything about sort of like using these to test / gauge the participants to see their reactions and the actions that they take, it just felt smart. And it was really creative from a writing point of view. So for that reason, I actually like the implementation of these bracelets. I think they could lead to some unique and interesting points partway down the line and a bit further. Now, throughout these 2 chapters, we learn the power levels of the characters that are involved, and they all seem relatively sensible and realistic from just what we've seen of the characters so far. Now, all of them apart from our main protagonist, Morihjin, because he seems to be placed in the rank level 6 category. However, one line from chapter 5 does pique my interest and could help explain why he's a level 6 and not higher at this moment in time. After all, if the levels go up because you're a lot stronger, then obviously it means that just because he's a level 6 now, doesn't mean that he'll be a level 6 forever. Like, people suppress their power all the time in other anime genres, and other mangas and other comics. It's a common trope. I'm suppressing my power so that you're caught off guard when I'm actually a lot stronger than you think. Plus, Morihjin is only using his fists at the moment, not his kicks. We know that once he uses his kicks, he's a lot stronger. So you have to bear that in mind. But the line that piqued my interest from chapter 5 was the line about sleep. He mentions that 8 is the recommended amount of sleep that someone should get, but 10 hours is good for the mental health of a person. Now this could indicate a reason as to why he's only a level 6, simply because he has not had his 10 hours worth of sleep. This can be reinforced by the fact that he's still using his blindfold while fighting, meaning that he's still resting in order to kind of get to that 10 hours kind of point. He sleeps during the explanation, so that's another way that we know that he's still trying to catch up on his sleep. So if he gets that 10 hours worth of sleep, then maybe he could raise up to level 10 or even higher. Because fighting alone and having brute strength and skill only takes you so far. You need to have the mentality and a good mental mindset to kind of plan and strategize in order to win and outsmart your opponent. So obviously, having the 10 hours sleep would allow him to be able to do that consistently and effectively. Now, you need to remember another thing as well. If he's only a level 6, and he manages to break the arm of an executive committee member, which these characters are already extremely strong, as we've seen from the green-haired one, and the fact that they seem to be on a higher pinnacle than everybody else. Are you telling me that everyone that's a level above Morihjin can also break the arm of an executive committee member? Considering they make it a big deal to the point that the green-haired one got his arm broken. I don't buy it. Therefore, there must be some sort of power suppression, and maybe the limit is that he has to either use his legs to get over level 6, or he has to have that 10 hours worth of sleep. That's just my opinion. I might be completely wrong, but that's just kind of the way my brain was thinking about it and processing things. Now, the new characters that get introduced, they all look pretty cool. And we all know they're likely to have a bigger role than just being your average everyday fodder. And we can tell this from the information that we're given, or the lack of information that we're given. Because the information that they like to give us in this chapter are names, their type of, fighting skill that they like to use, and most of these don't actually have that. They all have question marks by them, So that basically states that, we still need to learn more information. And we're not going to get all that information right off the bat. So I feel like that they are going to be more important. They're going to be weaved into the story a bit more. And we're likely to see more of these characters moving forward. So that, we can learn more about them. And see just why they're wanting to win this competition. And from a design and a showcase sense of things, I liked it. They're all interesting. The moves that they used were pretty cool. And the designs of their characters were, for the most part, pretty cool. Pretty interesting. Chapter 6 did a brilliant job in building up a bit of tension towards the end that could lead into Chapter 7 and chapters beyond. As it looks like the main boss of the group that we currently have now has arrived in the form of Mansaco Gang. Now, if I mispronounced that name, I do apologise, but he's a level 7 character that is currently serving a 23-month sentence in a youth detention centre. Now, this obviously tells us he's a very nasty character. He's done stuff that obviously isn't humane to get a sentence that long. He's obviously, done things that normal people wouldn't do. And the entrance that he makes was very effective as it highlights his strength, his malicious aura / intent that surrounds himself, and it builds up a perfect, almost perfect rivalry between himself and Mori Jin as they both use Taekwondo. However, they seem to have different / almost opposite rules and beliefs when it comes to using said techniques. As Mansaco Gang uses his feet / kicks even on weaker opponents, which as we all know from last week's chapter, that being chapter 4, Mori Jin doesn't use his feet unless he's fighting a stronger foe. Now, let's just back up a minute. There might be a different reason as to why Mori Jin doesn't like this character. And here's why. Because if we take by face value that Mori Jin is in fact a level 6 character, and the guy that he saves is a level 9 character, then Mori Jin would have to use his own kicks in a fight when facing this level 9 foe, if he was to come up against him himself. So maybe he doesn't dislike Mansaco Gang for using his feet, on this level 9 character. Rather the fact that he doesn't like him because he didn't test his opponent out first to determine whether or not his opponent is strong enough to warrant the use of his kicks, because from Mori Jin's point of view, kicks are like the pinnacle of Taekwondo and they're very strong and very deadly to anyone who can't handle them. Now, due to the fact that we saw this level 9 character get cut on the chin, even by being pulled back, shows us that these kicks from Mansaco Gang even, is extremely powerful. So obviously him testing him out first to determine whether or not he's strong enough to warrant using his feet would in fact make a lot of sense. However, this certainly does build up some interesting tension and, build towards like maybe a fight or a clash between these two characters in a later chapter. So for that reason, I actually really did like this segment and I thought it was very effective for what it was meant to do. Again, very smart writing in the way they presented the character. I like the Obama reference in chapter 6, that was fun and a cool reference, but having Maju Park arriving shows off his power of information and his skills as he single-handedly infiltrates a very secure area, and it also reinforces his stature and position. Because if you think about it, in order for someone who is being detained in a youth juvenile detention center, he would have to kind of be let go or cleared by a very high official. The prison guard wouldn't just say, yep, you're out, let's go. It would have to become from someone who is in a massive amount of power, that obviously being the president. So this is why I believe that Mr. Park arrived towards the president to ask to allow Mansaco Gang to be released for his competition. And the reason as to why they were looking at the hand stomping down first is because maybe he could show him the hand and say, look, if you don't do this, I'll do exactly what I did to that island, but to you. I managed to infiltrate this place, so it's not as secure as you want to believe it is. And this would obviously, again, reinforce the stature and position that Mr. Gang actually has, and yeah. I think that it does link together. I think there's a way that we could spin it so it links together. If I'm completely wrong and it's not a spoiler, then by all means, feel free to let me know in the comments down below. But overall, I thought this was a very fun couple of chapters. I felt that the plot was moving and the characters were being built up in a way that intrigued me enough to make me want to jump into the next chapter and see what's going to happen. I really can't wait to see what is going to happen. So hopefully you'll join me next week so I can give you my thoughts on that. So, as always, I want to know what you think of the chapter down in the comment section below. Did you like it? Or if you liked the video, then hit that thumbs up. If you dislike this video, then dislike the video, I guess, but let me know why. Constructive criticism is always appreciated. I know I'm in a different background than usual, so I do apologise for that. But hopefully soon, within about a week or so, I'll be back in my usual routine, and it'll be back to the content that you know. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed, and subscribe to this channel today so you can join in again for more God of High School content, more anime related content, and all that good stuff in the near future. Other than that, have a great day. Alligator, matane, goodbye.